happy people, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the my first time questions vlog. I thought it would be fun to answer some of these questions about first time things. So without further ado, here we go. Actually, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. What do you guys think of this new lighting? I think it's extremely bright, but if you guys like it, then maybe I'll keep it. If not, then maybe I should throw it in the trash can. And also I wanted to say, excuse my very unmade bed today. My sheets are in the washer, and I'm one of those weirdos that only have one set of sheets because that's the only one I like, and I just prefer that set of sheets. Okay, so without further ado, let's go. Okay, my first time questions. So the first question is my first tweet. I just spent a good 10 minutes trying to scroll back to what my first tweet was, and so far I'm still on June 3rd. So that's of this year, June 3rd. That was about a month ago. So if I were to go back about like 6 or 7 years on my Twitter, then that would probably take the entire duration of this video. So if you guys are interested in what my first tweet was, please feel free to go on my Twitter and scroll all the way down to 2007 or 2008 whenever I tweeted for the first time. Please let me know what I tweeted, because I want to know what stupid thing I said on Twitter in 2008 or 2007. So let me know what my first tweet was. I don't know, because it's gonna take way too much time to just scroll down right now. So next question. First YouTube video. My first YouTube video was actually a cover of Jay Holiday's Bed, and that was posted in November of 2007. It's now one of my most popular videos, so if you guys want to see that, it's on my channel somewhere. Number 3, first person you subscribe to YouTube. I'm not sure if I remember who it is, but I'm going to say one of my first subscriptions had to have been Kev Jumba. So Kev Jumba, shout out to you. How are you doing? I see that you've disappeared off the face of the earth. I hope you're doing fine. I hope you're doing great. Kev Jumba is probably the first person I've subscribed to. First Facebook profile pic. It doesn't show me what my first profile picture was. You know what? This video is turning out to be a little strange because it's just not technical difficulties right now, so I don't know. Okay. Probably more interesting questions are coming next. So, do you still talk to your first love? Yes. What was your first alcoholic drink? I've actually never drank or gotten buzzed or anything before, but I have tried beer before. I've tried other drinks before. I've never had a full drink to myself, but I think the first alcoholic drink I've ever tried was like a Budweiser or something. It was disgusting. Next question. What was your first job? My first real paying job was working as a receptionist at an acupuncture office in Monterey Park. That was fun. That was funny, interesting. But before that, I had an eBay business. And I started that eBay business when I was 11 or 12. So that was actually my first paying gig. And then my first job where I had like hours and pay and stuff. That was when I was 16 and I worked as a receptionist at an acupuncture office. What was your first car? I had a few cars that rotated in my family when I first drove. So I drove my family's, or my sister's, Toyota Highlander. I also drove this blue Astrovan. Oh my gosh, that car was so dangerous to drive. An Astrovan, and then I drove a Nissan minivan. Those were my first cars that I drove. Whatever car was available that day, I would drive one of those 3 cars. Those were my first ones. Who was the first person to text you today? The first person to text me today was Joyce, of course, because we talk every day and she's my BFF forever. It's so weird to say. A few years ago, I think I would have been like the last person to have ever said that, but now I have this BFF that I talk to every single day. interesting and cool at the same time, I think. Next question. Who was your first grade teacher? I believe my first grade teacher was Miss Eventov or Mrs. Eventov. I forgot if she was a Miss or a Mrs., but she was very sweet, and I'm so glad that she put up with me because I was probably a smart aleck in the first grade. And yeah, thank you, Mrs. Eventov or Miss Eventov. I've seen her a few years later, and she was very nice. Next question. Where did you go on your first ride on an airplane? I believe the first ride on an airplane that I can remember, we went to the East Coast for a cousin's wedding. So for one of my cousin's wedding. I'm actually like a strange generation gap away from my cousins. So my brother and sister are much older than me. And so their age of cousins are getting married while I'm like 4 years old. So that's when we went to the East Coast, and I believe I went to New Jersey and Philadelphia. So that's where I went. Or New Jersey and Pennsylvania, if we're talking in terms of states. Next question. Okay, who was your first best friend and do you still talk? I think my first best friend outside of my cousins and family friends was Michelle, and she is absolutely gorgeous and such a kind person and so talented, and she cooks and she has these cute little dogs, and I don't talk to her regularly, but once every few years I would say we still keep in touch, and I think she's just the sweetest person ever. So yeah, well, not the sweetest person ever, but you know, she's a very, very sweet person. I don't know who's the sweetest person ever. It's kind of a weird thing to call someone, but she's really, really nice and gorgeous and so lovely and blatantly honest, and I just appreciate everything about her. So, next question. Where was your first sleepover? I think my first sleepover was at my cousin's house, who I am still to this day very, very close with and very, very good friends with, and she is Stephanie. So I think my first sleepover was probably at her house. If not at her house, then at another cousin's house, which would be like Cindy's house or something. Yeah, first sleepover. Next question. What was the first thing you did this morning? The first thing I did this morning was probably check my phone. That's usually what I do first thing in the morning in case there's any type of emergency or whatever it is. There usually isn't, but I will check my phone just to make sure that I didn't miss anything or something didn't happen or something that I need to do, but usually it's just conversations in the morning. Next question. First broken bone. I've never broken a bone before, so I've played it relatively safe, or maybe I've just been really lucky throughout my life and I've never broken a bone before. My first piercing, I only have my earlobes pierced, and I got them pierced when I was 16 years old, so I went I guess most of my life without having my ears pierced. I like to joke with my mom that she had just forgotten to pierce my ears, so I had to go off and just figure out how to do it myself. So I had my cousin take me. It was great. I have my ears pierced now. Although it was kind of a waste because I don't really wear earrings that much, so maybe I should start. I don't know. Next. First foreign country you've gone to. I think the first foreign country I went to was Vietnam, and I was 7 or 8 years old at the time, and I remember I learned the definition of culture shock real quick because I did not expect it to be that way. But the next few times that I went there, I was actually really happy and really excited to be there. First movie you remember seeing. Okay, this is going to sound extremely disturbing, but there wasn't much censorship in my household growing up, so any movie that the adults were watching, I was watching too, and I swear the first movie that I remember seeing, I think I was like 4 or 5 years old, and it was The Exorcist. Seriously, The Exorcist. Traumatized. Traumatized for life. Just kidding. I actually still kind of like scary movies. Maybe that's why, because I watched it when I was a kid. I don't know. But okay, next question. When was your first detention? I think I got detention in middle school or something. Probably because I was late to class. I can't remember why else I would have detention. But yeah, it wasn't often, but that's gotta be why. So detention, yeah. Okay, who was your first roommate? My first roommate was Rui. She was an exchange student at UCLA from Japan, and she was actually in one of my videos, the We All Look the Same video, and she's the little Japanese girl that's like on this corner or something, and she was amazing. She was so sweet and so cool, and she really spoke mostly Japanese. She spoke some English, and I learned so much about the language and the culture and everything from her, and I thought she was just the sweetest thing. We still kind of keep in touch through Facebook, but I actually don't know what she's doing these days. She was really cool though. Super cool girl. If you had one wish, what would it be? I would wish for more empathy in the world. I think that's really important. But something a little more practical and concrete. I would wish for teleportation. That is my wish. Next question. What was the first sport you were involved in? So I would say the first sport I was involved in was basketball. This is going to sound really strange, but I think when my sister was younger, she was really good at basketball. And so I think maybe she thought that I would also be good at basketball, or I would like basketball or something. So she decided to, she took care of me a lot when I was younger. So she decided to put me in this basketball class or some kind of basketball team or something. And I think that might have been when she realized that I just wasn't a very sporty person and I didn't like balls. Like I've said in a previous video, I'm just not very good at sports, and I'm probably never going to be very good at sports, and I'm okay with that. but I don't want to be put in that situation. So yeah, that definitely wasn't something I liked at all. So first sport, basketball. No. Next question. What is the first thing you do when you get home? The first thing I do when I get home is I jump on my bed. Not like jump up and down on my bed, but like I just see my bed and I like kind of just plop on it, because I'm usually very tired by the time I get home from whatever I'm doing, usually working or something where I get tired and just need to lay down. So that's usually what I do the first thing I get home. So that's it for my first time questions vlog. Sorry, some of those questions couldn't get answered because they were just going way too far back in time, like the Twitter question and the Facebook question. But since we're talking about that anyway, if you missed me between this video and the next video, you can like my Facebook page, or you can follow me on the Twitter, or follow me on the Instagram, or I've got a Snapchat, and I also have a Vine and a Periscope account, but shh. I haven't really talked about my Vine or Periscope accounts very much. So, yeah, I have all those things. So follow me on wherever you want to follow me, and I will see you all tomorrow.